We should probably head back. Dinner will be soon. I made my world-famous tuna noodle casserole tonight. And if you play your cards right, you might get an extra helping.
Wow, an exciting thought.
Do what?
Nothing, Father. Hey, look over there. What's that light in the sky, Father Gill?
It's hard to tell from this distance. Might be a star.
I don't think so. Wait, it looks like it is coming this way. It's a ship of some kind.
Well, look at that. I think it is one of those flying saucers I've heard people talking about on the radio.
Are those people standing on top of the flying saucer? Are they waving at us?
They certainly seem friendly. Maybe they will land and have dinner with us. I wonder if they like tuna noodle casserole.
They can have the whole thing. Why should only us Earthlings have to suffer?
Do what?
Nothing, Father Gill. Nothing at all. Just keep waving, Reverend. Just keep waving.
Welcome to the Parsonage Files.
Can I stop waving now? I'm starting to get hungry.
Just keep waving.
I think I'm getting tennis elbow.
Take one for intergalactic relations, Padre.
The Parsonage Files. My name is Rick Burke, and I've been a United Methodist pastor for well over 20 years. And in that time, I've collected a number of stories to use in sermons and the like. And here on the Parsonage Files, I share a few of the stories that have never quite made it into a Sunday message. With me here today is my brother Rob. Hello, Rob. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Sounds like you might not be so well, though.
Well, I have a little bit of a cold, but you know what? That is not going to stop us here on the Parsonage Files from sharing what I think is a pretty cool story.
Mucus never got you down, huh?
We don't use the term mucus.
Because the little mucus guy in the commercial is adorable?
It's like moist.
Moist.
I found this interesting article this week as I was perusing the news, and the headline is Vatican astronomer says church would baptize aliens if they exist.
That's a headline I wasn't expecting to hear.
Absolutely. Father Richard D'Souza, newly appointed head of the Vatican Observatory near Rome, told the Daily Star that he believes that any intelligent life elsewhere in the universe would still belong to God's creation. They are all part of God's creation. They would be children of God. I believe in a benevolent creator. He is behind everything, he said. The astronomer priest explained that theology would have to evolve. Theology would have to redefine itself and take into account these other beings, he said. When asked whether he himself would baptize an alien, Father D'Souza replied without hesitation, yes, yes. He added that all beings capable of faith would be eligible for the sacrament. We believe baptism must be performed, he said. The question is how to reach them, or how they will reach us. These are practical problems to solve before we even start talking about baptism. And although no contact with extraterrestrials has occurred, the Vatican scientist remains optimistic. He believes researchers may prove the existence of alien life within the next 30 years.
Don't they say that all the time, Pastor
I was just
Rick?
going to say that.
Always the next 30
ago,
years.
It's always the next 30 years.
Yeah.
Father D'Souza now works under Pope Leo XIV, who has revived papal summers at the town of Castel Gandolfo.
Perfect. Nailed it, Pastor Rick.
Nailed it. Which is the traditional summer retreat for the popes, and it also houses the Vatican Observatory.
Who knew?
The observatory, founded centuries ago, has long served as the Catholic Church's bridge between science and faith. And under Leo XIV, that dialogue may extend beyond Earth itself as Vatican scholars explore how spirituality might embrace life from other worlds.
I have questions, Pastor Rick.
Okay, you've got questions. I'll make up answers.
Hey, that works good. First off, sprinkling or dunking for aliens?
Well, being that the folks we just talked about are Roman Catholic, it's going to be of the sprinkling kind, I would assume.
Complete sprinklings, yes.
I mean, I don't know about aliens and water. If we say the aliens are like the aliens in the movie Signs, let's say,
Right?
what are you going to do because they can't be exposed
They'll
to water?
melt.
They'll melt. So I don't know, but I would say, in all seriousness, sprinkling would be the traditional method.
And would we baptize xenomorphs or wait till they're full grown aliens?
I think that would be up to the particular alien.
So you don't have to kind of
Parents.
wrestle in the little xenomorphs that are running around. No. All right. In all seriousness, no. It is a question that I've pondered, right? Have you ever had these thoughts, Pastor Rick?
Well, okay. So if we look at John 10:16,
Right.
Jesus says this. He says, I have other sheep that are not of this sheep pen. I must bring them also. They too will listen to my voice, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd.
Was he referring to different races in that?
Well, it depends who you talk to. Now, I personally think that Jesus was talking about Gentiles in particular.
Gotcha.
In that particular case, but throughout,
Gentile would be what?
somebody who is not Jewish.
Gotcha.
But throughout the centuries, that has been extended to all kinds of different meanings, different people. So could these other sheep be?
So that logically could be extended. So if it originally probably wasn't meant to include other races, but it's been included.
Well, it wasn't meant to include other races. It was meant to include the Gentile races.
Gotcha.
But that would have been, members of the Roman Empire, at least the original listeners. That's who it would have.
So when you're talking Christianity spreading throughout the world to other peoples, it was extended to those.
Correct.
That were
Native
not-
Americans, people in Central South America. Yeah.
So by the same logic, then just because we've left the Earth and encounter new species of sentient beings, then we could it would be able to be extended to them in just the same easy fashion that it was.
Well, that
easy, probably not
is
the right
what
word, but
Dr. D'Souza was saying here. And that's kind of how he was explaining it, that it would be just like when Europeans first encountered folks living in the New World,
right.
that they too needed to hear the gospel, and that aliens would just be an extension of that. Now, the question that would arise is, so far, all evangelism has taken place among one species of people, or one species, I should say.
One species,
People.
right?
Right? Can evangelism occur outside of our species?
And if we say yes to alien species, what does that open up for here on Earth with multiple species that are not usually included?
Right, because if an alien species comes here, they're going to be what we would consider sentient. That is, they have a sense of self. They know right from wrong, right? So we would say they would have a quote unquote soul.
Right. But if we encounter an alien species that's not the word I can't say with the S.
Sentient?
Thank you.
Well, there's no way a non-sentient
No.
creature
I'm thinking more of us finding them, say, on Mars or one of the craft we've sent out, one of the exploring craft. We're blanking on their name, Pastor Rick.
the Voyagers.
Voyagers
yeah.
come across something. It'd be like a space dog.
I would say that if we found a creature that would be what we would call, non-sentient, they don't have a sense of self. They don't have the ability to know right from wrong. We would count that in the animal category. And as part of creation, that's how I would see that. But it does raise questions as to the differentiation between people and animals, even,
Right.
right? Because we say that what makes us different is we're created in the image of God. We have the ability to know right from wrong. Nobody else does. No other creatures do. Well, what happens if we meet other creatures who
The
do?
Gorn. We meet the Gorn from
Right.
Star Trek.
Right. Yeah. You meet the Gorn from Star Trek. Do they need to hear about Jesus? Interesting questions,
It is very interesting.
right? What would you do if you were a missionary and you came across space aliens? All of this talk about space aliens and
Missionaries?
got me looking through my file of weird stories, and I found one. Rob, why don't you share that story with us? Because it is an odd one, and it has to do with a missionary and perhaps space aliens.
It's a good story. It comes out of the 1950s, the 1950s, 60s UFO culture. It's something about that that's
It is.
awesome,
It
right?
is really the prime time for UFO sightings,
Yep.
for alien encounters. The 1950s through like the mid 60s.
Yeah, I mean, those are where the best stories come from, and this is one of those. It comes out of Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea, which, if you say that word, you just think World War II, right? At the time, was an Australian possession.
Okay.
And so this revolves around a missionary station in Papua New Guinea, a small town of Boianai. If you're from Papua New Guinea and I'm messing up that name, I apologize. I really practice this. But in any event, so it centers around a guy by the name of Father William Gill. The story goes is Father Gill was running a school and orphanage on the island.
Okay.
He's an Anglican priest from Australia, and he had been serving there for a while. Was a young guy, enthusiastic by all accounts, but a relatively sober guy. Not someone who's want to make up stuff. So that's what kind of makes the story seems all the more real, is who was telling it.
So he wasn't somebody who seemed to relish in tall tales.
Correct. And on a side note, and I think you have as well, Pastor Rick, has seen this gentleman interviewed multiple times over the years.
Mhm.
Never once does he ever give off the vibe as making it up.
No, he seems very sincere.
He really does. He really does. So that's why this makes the story kind of interesting. So Papua New Guinea, in the summer of 58 to 59, that year, was experiencing what's known as a UFO flap, where a flap would be where you would have multiple different types of sightings reported by a number of different people.
Okay.
And the UFO researchers kind of just call that a flap.
Okay.
So for about a year, islanders have been seeing things in the sky that they just couldn't explain. So we now move to June 26th, 1959. Anglican missionary Father William Gill was outside in the evening looking at the night sky, and he thought he was looking at the planet Venus. Then he realized Venus was getting closer.
Oh, that's never good.
It's never good, right? When the star comes in, and so it's, the light starts getting brighter and closer and starts moving towards them. And Father Gill's not alone. He's standing there on the beach with a number of other parishioners, families, students, and other clergy. So there's all in all between 35, 40 people standing there.
Okay.
And they see this light come, and it comes at them, stops not far, but not close.
So I'm going to guess in the mid to late 50s in Papua New Guinea, it is pretty dark out.
Yes. It's what you would expect a South Pacific island to be like. So as it comes closer, he realizes this is not a star; it's some type of craft. Through the years, Father Gill has described it as not a frightening craft, and not one of odd origins, he says. So it looks relatively familiar. It's made of familiar materials. So it's not like plasma or something along those lines. It looks like you would expect construction to look like. So this round UFO approaches. It's
and it's lit.
It's lit, and it has 5 portholes on it. It's kind of got several decks, and it has feet that come down like landing pods. I've heard it described as a flying ottoman. So think of an ottoman or a coffee table, that kind of thing, round with feet sticking down. So it's not unusual. I mean, it's unusual to see that flying around. Don't get me
Right,
wrong.
yeah.
But it's not a shape that you couldn't identify. And so they see it there hovering. Then it starts to shoot every now and again blue light out of the top, kind of up and at a 45-degree angle, and does that a few times. And then they notice that there's people, humanoid people. They look like you and I. They're at a distance, so you can't really get too much detail, but there's maybe 4 or 5 that are now up on top of so the UFO's got multiple levels, right? Up on the top of this UFO, and they are doing something.
Like
Unclear.
on an observation deck?
Observation deck, maybe more along the lines of they're on the roof of a building messing with the communication satellite dishes or the AC, whatever is on the roof of it. But they're doing some type of work up there. And so they watch this for a while, and then eventually it disappears. And so that's night 1.
I got questions.
Yeah.
So are they close enough for him to make out like clothes?
They are. They have some type of uniform on. Later, it's kind of described as sort of like diving suits, wetsuits.
And they look human.
Definitely look human. Can't hear them. And in this first sighting, they're kind of at a distance. So I didn't hear any words. Didn't really can get too much detail, but it was obvious that they were humans.
And they were
humanoid, I guess, would be the problem.
And they were making noise?
They were doing something up on this UFO, and it kept shooting off this bright blue light.
Like they were working on something.
And that it was sending this light up into the sky for some reason. So the UFO eventually leaves, and they go on about their evening. So then the next night, June 27th, everyone goes out to the beach again to say, hey, or is this going to happen again, as you do? And this is where it kind of makes a turn, Pastor Rick. The story kind of goes from interesting thing in the sky to making full-on contact with whatever's on this ship.
So we're going Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
We're going
here.
Full third kind right here. So what happens? So this second night they go out. Everyone's waiting on the beach to see if they can see it again. And sure enough, it's a craft approaches. There is some controversy if it's the same craft or a craft that's similar. However, it looks a lot like the original one. So it could be either a duplicate or the same craft. Regardless, this craft comes close, much closer than the first night. And again, the same 4 or 5 people are now up on the top deck, roof, whatever it would be of this UFO working. You see them bending down, picking stuff up, moving it around. And as the craft kind of drifts a little closer, Father Gill kind of looks up and realizes that what appears to be one of the aliens is like looking at them on the beach, standing there. So Father Gill does what any normal person does as a reaction when someone's watching you. He waves, picks up his arm, gives them a big wave, and whoever's on the top gives them a wave back. And like, well, okay. And then a second one on the top starts waving. So now you got 2 people on the top waving at them.
Are they close enough for him to make out like their faces?
Well, no, not faces necessarily, but he does realize that they're human or humanoid.
Somebody waving at you.
And someone waving at you. So they know that. And so it's kind of floating there. And so Father Gill has one of his students who stand there. He yells for him to go quickly and get a flashlight. So the kid goes and gets his flashlight. So the people are waving at whoever's on this craft. And at one point, the story goes, everyone on the ground's waving, and all 4 people up on the top are waving. It's kind of getting a little awkward, right? And Father Gill's like, "Hey, come here," kind of waving them in. He was really
so he wasn't scared.
Was not scared. His first thought was that it's probably an American or an Australian or a Royal Air Force craft of some sort. And he was inviting them down for supper, is what he was doing.
So he originally, or maybe always thought that these were people.
Right.
Humans.
Right. He never thought, hey,
space aliens.
Space aliens. A weird craft, definitely. Shooting blue light into the sky for some reason. But he never personally thought it was space aliens. Others that would later come along to investigate would take that angle, but Father Gill has never said it was. He thought they were people, and he was trying to see if they would land. And so the ship was kind of coming closer,
That's why he wasn't scared.
That's why he wasn't scared. The kids brought him a flashlight. Turns on the flashlight. It's trying to send Morse code. You know how you do. You don't really know Morse code, but you think you know Morse code. And he's sending it flashing the light at the ship, and the ship flashes lights back. As they turn on the flashlight and they move it, the flashlight left to right. The ship moves left to right.
All right, but if he thought these were people, why would he be amazed by that? Because of course they would do that.
Well, right. But it was not something you'd seen all the time.
And they got a flashlight. Did they get a camera?
They did not. But to be fair, it's 1959 in the middle of nowhere. What are the odds you had a camera? I mean, not the odds, but it's not like today, right? Where you would have a camera at your disposal all the time.
That's true.
So,
Okay.
you're a missionary. What are you planning on taking pictures of? He's there nurturing children, not on vacation.
Right.
So, but no, he did not take any pictures of it. Eventually, the people on the ship kind of get tired of waving at them. So the crew members, whoever is on the ship, go back inside of it. The ship kind of raises up and just kind of hovers there, little backs off a little distance and just sort of hovers. Father Gill and people on the beach watch it for about another 3 or 4 hours and decide to go have dinner. And later investigators, especially skeptics, said, well, why would you? If you saw something weird in the sky, why would you go get dinner? And his answer was, well, after 4 hours and it didn't do anything, we had to eat. It wasn't creepy. It wasn't nefarious in any fashion. And we were hungry, and I have kids. There's kids here. They need to eat their dinner. So they go inside. Father Gill, everyone on the mission goes inside, has their dinner, eat, come back outside. The ship is there, does the blue light show again, shooting stuff off into the sky. And eventually it rises and disappears. So that excitement for that day is over. Father Gill and everyone at the mission go to bed. And sometime around, I don't know, late 11, 12 o'clock, they're awoken by what's this incredibly loud explosion. Louder than any thunder they ever heard. The sky was a little overcast, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that it was a storm.
Yeah.
But Father Gill's report, it did not sound like any thunder he had ever heard. It was like an explosion. Saw the blue lights in the sky behind the clouds. And then that was it for the night. So that is the story, Pastor Rick.
And is that all he ever saw of these craft, or did they come back?
They saw them a few other times at a distance, but never waved at them, as far as I know. Unless you have stories, Pastor Rick, that I didn't.
No, the only story I have is missionary waves at aliens.
Yeah,
and
from what I can tell,
that's all I have.
And then I've seen the man interviewed. I've read lots of stories. There's a great website called the Black Vault.
Yeah,
which has lots of primary source documentation,
a lot of Freedom of Information
Act stuff.
Yeah.
And then they also included J. Allen Hynek, the famed UFO investigator, investigated it. So his write-up of it is on their website if you want to look at it. So they saw other weird things in the sky later on. But again, the island was in what's known as the UFO flap. So weird things in the sky had been seen all year long. But this was the only encounter with humanoids. But as you said, Pastor Rick, Father Gill never thought it was anything other than humans. He thought it was perhaps some type of military anti-missile technology that they were shooting, some type of laser-guided technology into the sky to shoot down Russian ICBMs. And that would be what the explosion was a test of them blowing up a missile. There's never been any proof of that. And one would ask if that was capable in 1959, why did we need to, not use that technology until relatively recently?
Right. Now, he didn't take any pictures, but he did draw some pictures.
He did. So he had, when the kid went and got the flashlight, he had him go get a sketch pad and a pencil, and he's made lots of sketches. Are you looking at those right now, Pastor Rick, by chance?
I am, and they are, well,
it looks like a flying coffee table.
Yeah,
with people on top.
It looks like exactly how he explains it.
Maybe we can put this link in the show notes.
Yeah. So you two can take a look at the drawings.
And this is from a story about John Greenwald, who runs the Black Vault, from June of 2020. And it's got all the write-ups of the different UFO investigators that came out, skeptics and believers alike, to investigate what was close encounter of the third kind,
Right.
which would be communicating with an alien, correct, Pastor Rick?
Yeah.
It 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 looks sort of like. Have you ever seen? And when I first saw the pictures, I thought of this, and maybe Pastor Rick, you can put a picture up of this. The Avro,
The Avro car.
yes, that our friends in Canada were making in what, the 50s, 60s,
Yeah.
and it looked like a UFO with a dude sitting on top, very like Jetson-y kind of thing, and that's what this thing looks like. I mean, it looks like little UFO disc with feet on the bottom, and some people waving on top.
So, reminds me, wasn't there a episode of the 1960s show I Dream of Jeannie, where
Yes,
they're out in like an Avro car and somebody sees them and thinks they're aliens and
Yep.
shoots at them?
absolutely,
And it kind of reminds me of that.
it does.
Obviously, a decade
Right.
earlier, or maybe not even quite a whole decade, but somewhat earlier. Um,
But there's never been any proof that it was some type of U.S., Australian, British, Canadian technology.
right.
And it's gone down as one of the better recorded UFOs in history because, well, one of the guy who saw it, but because of how he took some really good notes, how there were 40 people on the beach, all of them they all had the same exact story of what happened, and none of them really embellished it.
And he didn't make any money off of it,
Didn't
obviously.
make any money off of it. And he was very sincere that, hey, this is what I saw. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying it's space aliens. I don't know. This is what happened. It was weird.
And that would be a close encounter of the third kind, which is a UFO encounter in which an animated entity is present. These include humanoids, robots, and humans who seem to be occupants or pilots of a UFO. So it would be an actual close encounters of the third kind.
By witnesses that had integrity and described it with reality based descriptions of it. It's not far-fetched. It's not someone walking up like smiling in your car, waving at you, like the Grinning Man story. None of these things.
It isn't like some alien told him of, some cosmic disaster that's going to befall the world, or some,
Right.
Go tell your leaders to stop nuclear proliferation or whatever, like your contactee
Right.
type folks
None
did.
of that.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I watched that one video that you sent me, that link was an interview with the priest, and he is really believable, very down to earth, just sort of like, oh yeah, this happened, but he never sensationalized it, never said, well, it could have been, or my favorite, you have people who always say that they met aliens, and then later on they'll say, oh yeah, and they came back a year later.
Right. Yeah. And
Right.
the story always gets better and better, and more.
There's always a sequel to the book.
And correct. And there's none of that. So I don't doubt that this dude and all these people at this mission in Papua New Guinea saw this. I also don't think that it was aliens in coveralls working on something. It would seem unlikely, right, Pastor Rick?
It would seem unlikely, but it's not the only time that people have seen aliens in coveralls. I'm thinking of
You're not going with the pancake guys, are you?
am the
Best story ever. Where was that?
hold on here.
You using the Google machine to find that?
I am. It is the Joe Simonton.
Yes.
Joe Simonton. Yeah.
What year was that? 50s too?
1961.
Okay, a little later.
And he so this story comes to us from 1961 near Eagle River, Wisconsin. Chicken farmer Joe Simonton. He was on this isolated farm, chicken farm, when he sees a UFO land, and they are working on something. Hold on here.
So same type of thing, right? Where the UFOs kind of land, some humanoid-like creatures and overalls are working on the craft.
Yeah, let me get the actual story here because it's actually
I always tell everyone this story because in my mind, if I'm going to meet aliens, I want them to bring me some flapjacks. I mean, that
Yes.
is the kind of alien I'm looking for.
Let's see.
We are making riveting podcasts here with searching online.
All right. So this is the Joe Simonton UFO
Okay.
near Eagle River, Wisconsin. Joe Simonton was a plumber, auctioneer, and part-time Santa Claus.
What's known as a Renaissance man.
Yes, yes. He played Santa Claus annually for the Eagle River Chamber of Commerce. And he was between the ages of 55 or 60, depends on the interviewer when this happened. And it was around 11 a.m. on April 18th, 1961, when Simonton was having a late breakfast when he heard a sound like that of a jet being throttled back. Something like the sound of, quote, knobby tires on wet pavement.
Very specific.
Very specific. He went into the yard and he saw a flying saucer drop out of the sky and hover over his farm. It was silver and brighter than chrome, he said. 12 feet in height, 30 feet in diameter. On the edge were what appeared to be exhaust pipes, 6 or 7 inches in diameter. The disc landed and a hatch opened, and inside were, quote, 3 dark-skinned aliens, each about 5 feet tall and weighing about 125 pounds. They appeared to be between 25 and 30 years old and were dressed in dark blue or black knit uniforms with turtleneck tops and helmet-like caps. They were clean-shaven, Simonton said. And,
they're not barbarians.
And, quote, Italian-looking.
That clears it right up. Italian-looking aliens.
So now, from now on, the aliens are going to sound like they're in a bad mafia movie. They
all sound like Joe Pesci.
They all sound like Joe Pesci. The aliens.
What are you looking at?
The aliens.
Do I make you laugh? Do you think I'm funny?
Yeah. The aliens did not speak in his presence, but they had a silvery jug with 2 handles, heavier than aluminum, but lighter than steel, about 1 foot high.
Wait. That fact that it's heavier than one metal and lighter than another, how would we know this?
Just listen to the story.
Oh, okay.
It seemed to be made out of the same material as the craft.
Okay.
Simonton said it was a, quote, beautiful thing. A thermos jug-like bottle, quite unlike any jug I have ever seen. So people travel here from another planet and we spend their whole time marveling at their drinkware.
Did you get that at Crate and Barrel?
Not Yetis. What was the one a couple of years ago? Like people were like
the Stanley Cups?
Yeah, the Stanley Cups, right?
They're too heavy to do anything practical with.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So through ESP or, quote, something.
That's the best term, but that is realistic. I don't know, ESP
or something. I don't know. I'm a chicken farmer. I'm a chicken farmer who plays Santa. I don't know.
Somehow
Simonton got the idea that the aliens wanted water, so he left the visitors, filled the jug with from the water pump in his basement,
and that's how he knows how heavy it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then returned to the craft and gave the jug
retract my
back.
sarcasm. So I'm sorry, I talked right through that. So I retracted my sarcasm and he filled up their jug.
And he gave it back to them.
Okay.
To do this, he had to brace himself against the UFO's hull and stretch up. From the subsequent Air Force report, quote, looking into the saucer, he saw a man cooking on some kind of flameless cooking appliance.
So they have induction ovens.
The alien was preparing pancakes.
Those are my boys. That's the kind of alien I want.
You know, it is time for brunch. What did you say, about 11?
Yeah, I think it's about 11 there, yeah.
The interior of the UFO was dull black, even with 3 extremely beautiful instrument panels, and had the appearance of wrought iron. The contrast between the dark interior and the shiny exterior so fascinated Simonton that he later said that he, quote, would love to have a room painted in the same way.
It later inspired Joanna Gaines to create the modern farmhouse look.
It was shiplap.
Shiplap.
In return for the water, one of the aliens, the only one with narrow red trim on his doesn't this sound like what's his name from Mario Brothers?
It does.
Luigi?
It does. Italian guy, red trim.
Did he have a little cap?
Little cap, yeah.
The only one with narrow red trim on his trousers presented Simonton with 3 of the pancakes, hot from the griddle. As he did so, the alien touched his own forehead, apparently a salute. And thanks to Simonton for his help. Simonton saluted back. Each of the pancakes was roughly 3 inches, so they're kind of like silver dollar pancakes.
I hate silver dollar pancakes. Just gotta toss that out there. Make me a pancake.
Make me a pancake, man. In diameter and perforated with small holes. Maybe they cook better.
Like White Castles.
The head alien then connected a line or belt to a hook on his clothing, and the hatch closed. Safety device.
Yeah, right?
The saucer rose about 20 feet and took off to the south at a 45-degree angle. So its wake left a blast of air that tossed the tops of nearby pine trees. The craft took only 2 seconds to disappear from view.
It's fast.
Simonton ate one of the pancakes, ostensibly in the interest of science.
Or the interest of hunger.
And he said, quote, "It tasted like cardboard," he told the Associated Press. The other 2 pancakes he gave to Vilas County Judge Frank Carter,
As one does.
who was a local UFO enthusiast.
Okay.
Carter, who called the aliens saucernauts,
I'm not sure.
or as some of us might call them, Italians, said he believed Simonton's story since he could not think of any way in which the farmer might profit from a hoax. Carter's son, Colin, today a lawyer in Eagle River, said, "I recall as a youngster that my dad took it very seriously." Judge Carter sent the pancakes to what was then the country's top investigative group, the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomenon, or NICAP. They refused the opportunity to check it out.
They didn't test it?
They put a damper on Judge Carter's plans. He wanted to hold a seminar on the incident.
I'm thinking, and just from my thought, NICAP was kind of...
It was the one that had all the generals and stuff on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My guess is
Not interested in talking about space pancakes.
is they thought it was a hoax or just some
right.
local yodel who, yeah.
Yeah.
By this time, Simonton said he was, quote, irked by reporters making fun of the situation and laughing at him. In response to all of this, the Air Force dispatched its civilian UFO investigator, J. Allen Hynek.
Here's Mr. Hynek again.
Hynek at the time was an astronomer at Northwestern University. He later became convinced that UFOs are real and founded his own investigative agency, which took over NICAP's files after the group folded. And thanks to Hynek and a Northwestern University committee and the Air Force's Technical Intelligence Center, they analyzed one of Simonton's pancakes, and they found it to be made out of
Cardboard?
no, flour,
Okay.
sugar, and grease.
Seems like pancakes.
It was rumored, however, that the wheat in the pancakes was of an unknown type. The official Air Force assessment of it all, the case is unexplained. The only serious flaw in the story is the disappearance of the craft in 2 seconds. The rest of the story did not contain any outrages to physical concepts, reads the report. Simonton answered questions directly, did not contradict himself, insisted on the facts being exactly as he stated, and refused to accept embellishments or modifications. He stated he was sure that nobody would believe him, but he didn't care whether he was believed or not. He stated simply that this happened, and that was that.
It's sort of like the story of, say you're like the president of the United States and you just roll into some McDonald's and buy some pancakes or buy McGriddle or whatever. And People are like, oh, I saw the president. They're like, yeah, tell me who you want. No one's going to believe you because it's so outrageous.
So Father Gill, he's not the only person to have encountered aliens that look like people.
They have, the Nordics.
The Nordics, the tall whites, all that good stuff.
Range 4 Harry, look it up.
Yes, Range 4 Harry. Yeah. Which is just an obscure story about
aliens.
On range for anyway
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up. It's aliens. And so Rob, let's wrap this up.
Oh, let's do.
All right, so Father Gill, do you think he's making this up?
Oh no, as we said before, the guy's telling the truth. I think he saw some type of craft, American, Canadian, Australian, British, something, Russian, something.
But like Mr. Simonton here with his smaller Italian looking aliens or somebody, maybe space aliens look like us.
Right? Or they're ultra-terrestrials.
Correct. Or maybe they're us from a different dimension. Or maybe they're us from the future.
From the future, right. And that's kind of the area that I'm leaning more towards. Is what are the odds that there are humanoids exactly like us out there in the world or out in their universe?
So have you ever heard the idea that in order for a creature to evolve sentience and to be able to move to a certain level of technology, that bipedalism is the way to go?
I did not know that. So it's a requirement.
It's advantageous. That's why most aliens are bipedal creatures like us. At least most aliens that are reported.
Not this, because that's all Gene Roddenberry could afford to create.
Well, I was going to say, and that's also, I got that from Star Trek.
It's a whole lot cheaper just to put a dude in a suit than come up with something crazy and outlandish.
That was the argument for Star Trek as to how come all the aliens they met looked just like people.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, in the next generation, here I go down this geeky path, but the next generation, they then had like these progenitors, and that's why, and they tried to fix it up a little bit.
Right.
But in reality, it's because they only have a limited budget, and it's way more expensive to make aliens have more than 2 legs.
Yeah, right.
When the actors you're working with got 2 legs and 2 arms.
2 arms a lot cheaper than 4 arms. Yeah.
But again, my all-time favorite Star Trek alien is in the original series where they took the dog and they glued the horn. Yeah, and they glued the horn to its head.
Oh, this podcast has gone way overboard. But no, that is the best alien. If the universe is full of little doggies with horns glued to the top of their head, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So, all right.
What are you coming out on this, Pastor Rick?
You know what? I'm thinking that Father Gill saw something because he seems pretty honest. What he saw, I have no idea.
And and I even take it a step further. It's not like some of these other stories you have where it's something bizarre and you can't explain it. I think this is easily explainable. It's people doing something about flying craft.
And maybe he was confused about what he saw. It could have been a helicopter of some sort.
And the more I investigate, that seems very dramatic for what I did. But the more I learned about this, it seems like I don't understand why we're still talking about it 50, 60, 70 years later. It's not that interesting of a story, Pastor Rick. It seems really cut and dried. Do you disagree?
Well, it's
that's my hot take.
If the ships look like he said they looked, it would be. We didn't have any ships up. We still don't have anything that looks like that.
No, but I'm looking at this picture, and it's not
that far off of what you would say a 1950s helicopter would look like. And if they're at a distance, you would think helicopters are loud. They are loud, but if they're at a distance,
it would make noise, and they said it didn't have noise. So I got you on there. That's weird that the craft didn't have sound.
But it could still be a helicopter, or
I'm not even going with helicopter. I mean, I'm going with some type of
like an Avro car.
Yeah.
Well, why over the jungles of Papua New Guinea?
Why not? I mean, there's no one there.
I say you are a skeptic. You are part of the disinformation.
I mean, it's not like Betty and Barney Hill where they had like aliens. They had windows, but they were like aliens in uniforms. This isn't even aliens.
Have you ever thought that these people could be part of a breakaway civilization?
Possibly. I think a lot of people are part of breakaway civilizations nowadays, but you know,
Lumeria,
yeah, right. And that's the town, that's the city inside the Earth, right?
isn't it?
Sure. No one's fact checking us. No one's listening to us.
Lumeria was the rival of Atlantis. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in any event, Pastor Rick, that's my 2 cents on this.
All right. So
I like the idea of a headline: priest waves at aliens. But once you get into the story, it kind of,
So we began with a priest who said that if he met an alien, he would be willing to baptize them. And we
Yes.
end with a priest who saw somebody. He didn't know if they were an alien, what they were, but he was willing to
have dinner with them.
have dinner with them. And I think from a Christian perspective, that should tell us all we need to know is it doesn't matter if somebody's got 2 arms or 4 arms. We should be nice to them. We should share the love of Christ with them,
And everyone loves a good potluck.
and maybe even a little bit of a dinner. So I think from a perspective of evangelism, Father Gill really showed the way. And I even think our friend Mr. Simonton and the pancakes,
He helped them out with water.
he even helped folks.
Being a good Samaritan.
Absolutely. Even if they're not from here or from a different dimension or from
And-
the center of the earth.
And he didn't criticize the taste of their pancakes. Just because they can't bake isn't their fault.
There's a lot of people who can't bake.
No, it doesn't make them bad people.
No, I don't
Bad
know.
aliens.
So all right. That's all I got. Is that all you got?
It is, Pastor Rick.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to us here on the Parsonage Files. Oh, hopefully you are still with us.
The two people that are still with us.
If you are one of the people that are still with us and you are looking for a church this Sunday, we would love to have you at Groveport United Methodist. Our worship time is at 10:30 a.m., either online or in person. Our website is groveportumc.org. So until next time, take care. God bless.